It's just half off of the balanced audio coming out of the interface box for the headset before I do any amplification or anything.
Oh, I see. Well,
run it into the little Vox circuit and then run it out. I'm using a little reed relay in it to key the PTT, so it'll work on everything. But basically, yeah, if I do it in the early stage there, I just have to interface it with the other box and over the push to talk plug-in, and that's it.
It sounds like that'll work pretty good for you, and that's kind of important, I think, anyway, to have that working right, or to have the feature the way we like to use them.
Yeah, it's nice to use. I was thinking about doing it just for this radio alone, and then I thought, well, that other one I'm getting, I don't think has that feature. Why not just build one and tap off of the main audio source, which I always use the headset, so there's no reason to fiddle with any of the others.
Yeah, if it'll feed them all, you might as well adjust it one time and you're done.
You just flip it on and that's it. You're done.
Yeah, that's nice. That's better than having to fool with the ones on each of the rigs.
Yeah, I don't have to play with it at all.
Yeah, I like that idea. Just a little outboard box is all it is?
It's going to be a small box. I think it's about 3 wide and about 4.5 deep. Painted box. Have a couple controls, gain and delay. Probably don't ever touch them once I turn it on. Once I set them.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool, John. I'm sure it'll work well for you when you get it done.
Yeah, it's the same type of box I built that 160-meter converter in, only it's smaller. So just set up there, and that'll be the end of it. Simple. So how you been doing?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. Had a pretty good week so far. Just typical amount of few problems. That one guy. The biggest issue I had this week is I had a guy not show up for work, and the customer's yelling at me, and come to find out he got picked up for a DUI on Sunday night, and that's why he didn't show up for work at 3 o'clock Monday morning.
Ooh.
That would do it.
In your business.
Yeah, he's done. There's no second chances.
Yeah, that's a big mistake.
Yeah, it's a big mistake, period, no matter what you're driving, but it's even a bigger mistake in a commercial vehicle if that's your livelihood.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so used to using Vox, I forget to push the flip switch.
Oh, you think you're talking and you're not?
Already started talking a couple of times, and I looked at the radio. I said, wait a minute. The red light's not on.
Like, how can that be?
I think, oh, yeah, I got to push this button for this radio. Well, I don't know if Scott's around. I talked to him yesterday, I think it was. Yeah. We were out at my grandson's Little League game, baseball game. He called me regarding fireplace up at his Donner house. He's been working on that for the last few days.
Oh, no, I didn't know he was still working on his Donner's house.
Yep, it's been a long and slow process, but I think it's about done. And he said next few weeks it's going to go on the registry.
Yeah, probably as good a time to sell as any right now.
Yeah, things are up. I think some of the stuff is sold around him, so that'll work good.
You think those homes sell up there a little slower because it's touristy, or I don't know, or do people live up there and drive into town to work every day?
Nah, I think it's mostly people that are either retired or can just afford them as a home away from home, but they're pretty pricey.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound like a... Sounds more like a vacation home or a rental or something then.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And it's right on the lake, and he has a, he had to put in a boat dock and the whole bit, which was a huge issue.
Well, he sounds like he got it done. I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah, yep. He's got it done. I'm surprised he's not here though. I think he's around.
Well, maybe I'll have to start talking about cameras.
Well, he's probably forgotten which knobs to turn.
Well, he uses those archaic kind of radios that I don't have any of anymore, even though my stuff will still work with his.
Yeah, I know. This is my earliest SDR right here.
Yeah, I remember. You got the crown head for it.
Yep. Yeah, it's unfortunately though it's not one that's programmable like your the one in mine.
Was it just like channelized or something?
It is.
Well, then you're either on or you're off.
Yeah. You can change it. You can tune it anywhere you want in, let's see, 10 hertz increments.
Oh, well, that's good.
Control.
Well, that's good. I mean, I always tease people about being 10 hertz off, and I don't think anybody gets it. Most people can't tell the difference that they're 10 hertz off or not.
Yeah, so what I've done is it's got a couple hundred memories, so I program like every 5 kilohertz of most of the band areas that I would go, and left spaces in between the bands so I could add more frequencies if I wanted to.
There's not a whole lot of manufacturers that will give you the opportunity to insert channels in between channels if they're all filled up.
Yeah, the thing is totally, it's completely open because it's a military, style type of radio where I think it starts at 1.6 megahertz and goes to 30 or 32.
That's the kind of feature you pay $200-300 extra for these days if you're a qualifying contracting purchaser or a government entity.
Yeah, these are thousands. But I ended up getting a good price off eBay. Sue's got one that I converted all with the conversion stuff and everything. All she's got to do is hook a preamplifier to it for a microphone. It's ready to go. And a laptop or whatever you want. But this one I finally found a control head for it, so that's a little nicer. But yeah, everything's push buttons with the exception of the volume control, and that's it.
Well, I didn't mean to say you were running a $200 radio. What I was trying to say was these manufacturers charge you like $300 for a radio that will transmit anywhere received, and they call that a feature.
Ah. Well, this one it was expected.
I imagine it was if it was a government radio.
That'd be fun to have the rest of the stuff that goes with it. I've never tried the ALE function. That is pretty cool. One of the guys Bill up there has one.
Oh, really? There are some guys playing around with ALE. I don't know anybody doing it. I've just watched it on YouTube, and it looks pretty cool.
Yep, automatic link establishment. So, yeah, you assign each radio a number, and then one of them is the one that talks to the rest of them, and it just tunes the other radios. But all of them have to be hooked to broadband antennas.
Well, yeah, and the guys that are doing it are like the Aries preppers, those guys.
Yeah, I would expect that.
I mean, it might be fun for a couple guys like us just to play with it, to do it, but not really necessary, hardly, for all you have to do to get there.
Well, once you set it up both the radios, you set all the bands up in it, then you enable that feature, and then it will find the best frequency and the best band.
Maybe it has a internet connection to the Chinese radar, and it taps into that.
Oh yeah, it would make sense that would be where it'd go, wouldn't it?
Boy, they seem to be very proficient at that.
Well, of course, they're listening to the echo.
Yeah.
They may be listening from other spots that they've set up.
I've read that it's multiple receivers linked together now is why they're doing it.
It can be irritating when it's really really working well.
We got the right guy in office to go down there and tell him to shut it off.
Yep.
Well, I know some of the guys started to hear it last Sunday, but I never did.
What was that?
The Chinese radar. I think Jim or Denny was mentioning it. They were starting to hear it, but I never did.
Yeah, I could just barely hear it here, so I was thankful.
Well, it seems to be a lot better down lower on 75 meters. It doesn't seem to sweep down there as much.
Well, we'll have to start. I got to get that upgrade, and then we can go down there. Well, Bud will have to do it too.
Yeah, you and Bud will have to make a lunch date. Oh, I know. You should come to the Nevada State Convention in Reno and just get it there.
Nevada State Convention?
Yeah, they'll be testing. They always test. We're having the State Amateur Convention in Reno this year.
Oh, when's that?
19th and 20th, right in there somewhere on that weekend.
Of what?
July.
Oh, okay.
You can come up, go to a VE session and get tested. Bud wouldn't have an excuse not to go because it's right in his backyard.
Oh, I'll have to talk to him about it.
Might be kind of fun for you guys, and it'd be good to see you.
Yeah. Are you copying okay?
Yeah, I can copy you just fine, John.
Yeah, power is fine. I'm well over 1,000 watts here.
I'm running 500. I guess you're an S9, so maybe I'm not so loud to you.
Oh, it's easy copy.
No, you're 10 over.
I think I can just use the squelch.
Well, my noise floor tonight's typical. It's about a S6. Maybe a little higher than normal. I'm not even sure.
160, well, maybe once or something.
Yeah, I'm not getting any static crashes or anything, so it's pretty quiet. Just nothing but an electric fence, but the noise blinker's taking that out.
Yeah, that other little radio probably will show up another few weeks, I think.
That's because they have to build them by hand.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not much ventured if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. I think it's kind of neat that they're building them by hand.
Well, for small quantities, I guess that works out. Otherwise, it shouldn't be a problem to get somebody to build them.
It looks like it's a pretty nice all-around rig.
Yeah, the actual construction looks good. And the circuit diagram looks good.
Yeah, it looks like it'll do digital modes or just about anything you want to do with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested with the interface for the cat mode. I should be able to tie that into the computer.
Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. I don't remember what they said about it. It seems, I'm sure they're using a common cat protocol. They're probably using a Kenwood or something.
Yeah, it's a TS, what is it, 2000?
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty common thing to do. It's a good one to use.
Yeah, I think it's that one or the 480, one of those two. It's a common.
Yeah, both of those are pretty popular to use. In fact, I think that's what Flex uses, the 2000.
Oh, I thought they had one for their own.
Well, I don't think so. They're starting to write, some of these apps are starting to be written specifically for Flex, so it could take advantage of it, but I think it's kind of built around the 2000 or the 480, because early on in the game we were setting up software choosing the Kenwood protocol,
Probably just looking at the Anon here. Actually, I think I did use one of those. I'm not sure which one it was.
Well, it's interesting, and I don't know why, but Flex uses the ASU pinout for their microphone jacks, whether they're RJ45 or Foster 8-pin, and they use the cat commands for Kenwood.
I'm kind of looking at this to see what it's called. No, this one's Power SDR XML, I think, is what I'm looking at. FL Digi. Huh. So actually, on one of them I have TS940S.
Yeah. Well, I think now on the software that I run, it all says Flex on it now. Now that Flex has become a bigger radio company and they're more prominent, people writing software are actually writing for Flex.
Huh. Yeah, I'm going through this. I don't remember setting this stuff up. Huh. Oh, well. Does anybody use JT65 anymore?
I don't see very much activity on it. FT8 has kind of robbed the JT crowd and the PSK crowd. The guys running PSK 31, they all kind of gravitated toward that, which kind of surprised me because I could see the JT65 people going over, but the PSK 31 is a keyboard-to-keyboard mode. It's not really a bare minimum mode. So I'm kind of surprised they went over because they effectively shut their conversations off just to exchange the essential reports.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like PSK 31 because it's a lot like RTTY.
I like it too. I like I like the fact that it has a very narrow signal. I like the Olivia a lot, but it's so wide.
I've never tried that.
Olivia works really good. And it's one of those, it decodes much better than PSK31 does. But you're looking at really wide bandwidths.
So what's really wide?
500 hertz, 250 hertz, and they go wider than that if you want to. 1,000 hertz wide.
Levels?
Yeah, because they have a whole bunch of different tones. But I guess the idea is it's spread out and it goes slow, and it decodes way down into the noise because of that.
Yeah, I think it sounds like it's pretty good.
It is. I used to be able to have cues on them every night if I wanted to, but not that way anymore. Usually I only hear Olivia activity on the weekends now for the most part. Partly because I think they've gone to FT8.
So everybody just kind of switched over to the FT8 just so they can make lots of contact?
I think so. The guy who wrote the program, Joe Taylor, he was surprised. He was very surprised how many people switched to it when he released it, how fast it happened.
And it's all about the 15-second turnaround, and the other one was what, 43 or something?
Oh, yeah, the other one was 48, I think. And then with the pause in the middle and everything, you were right at 60 seconds. So it would take 5 minutes minimum to complete a cue versus 60 seconds on FT8.
So everything's just faster.
Yeah, but what you're giving up is it's not as effective for weaker signal. But it's still very, very good.
Yeah.
You're basically giving up about 4 dB difference.
Oh, that's not much.
No, not really. But I think one of the pluses about it is because let me get this phone call real quick, John, KM60Q. Hey, Del, what's going on? Possible theft going on.
What's going on?
Possible theft. I've picked up this white pickup truck in the yard, our yard, and I don't think it belongs there. Nobody knows who it belongs to, and we've had some stuff being stolen. And one of my guys just saw that pickup truck in town. He took pictures of it and got pictures of the license plate and the people getting in and out of it, and he's going to send it to me.
Oh, boy.
Maybe we're onto something.
It's the same truck?
Yeah, it is the same truck.
And somebody saw it there before when things were missing?
I've seen it on the cameras. But the cameras aren't good enough to pull out license plate numbers when they're driving through the yard.
But now you've got it.
Yeah, but now I got it.
Oh, great.
The last guy that did this, I had him arrested about, I guess, 6 months ago, and he spent 2 months in jail because he was on probation. And he just got charged, and they gave him like 3 years in prison, but then they said he didn't have to go to prison if he's on some kind of house program. They let him off easy, even though he was a repeat offender many times over.
I think it could be the same guy?
No, I don't think it's the same guy. I think this is a different one.
Well, I hope you get him.
Yeah, I mean, they don't just hit us; they hit all the freight companies, you know. And they're very brave. They'll walk right into the yard in broad daylight and steal stuff.
What do they steal?
Anything they could sell to get some drug money for, you know, tires, batteries. Whenever I see motorhomes parked up and down the street, well, you know, anywhere on the street, that's usually a good indication that we're going to get batteries stolen out of our liftgate trailers.
Motorhomes and then steal your batteries?
Yeah, these guys are in these 30-year-old motorhomes that won't hardly run. They're living in them, and they get chased around Reno by the cops. You know, they park somewhere for 3 or 4 days till they get called in on, and then they go move somewhere else. When I see them parked on the street, you know, I just know that, like at 2 in the morning, we're going to get some batteries stolen. What they do is they go and they don't undo the batteries. They just cut the cables and take the whole thing. And then they put them, they'll install them in their motorhomes right where they're parked and just take the cables off and throw them on the street. They're so stupid. And they, you know, and then they get caught and arrested, you know, if there's enough evidence and stuff.
They let them out and they do it again.
Yeah, they don't want to keep them. They just, I think sometimes law enforcement just likes to run them through the system to show that they're needed.
Or that they're actually doing something.
Yeah, that's what I mean, you know, because they don't have any interest in solving the problem or preventing it or retaining them.
Yep, there isn't room for all of them.
Nah, they don't, but they're really quick to bring them in, no matter what, which I like, but I just think their intentions are different than what I would like them to be.
Yeah, you know, I heard the other day that California has 1/4 of the homeless in the nation.
Really? I wouldn't have thought that, but that's amazing, actually.
160,000.
Well, you know, they've got the weather for it. They've got enough free handout programs to encourage it. They pander to them. I guess that could be true.
Oh, yeah, lots of bad things involved around them, and they let them get away with it. You know, they do close up their camps, but not till after they pollute things. And, you know, gosh, it's got to be horrible dealing with it. I know that they closed down sections of the American River for swimming because of all the waste products they're putting in the American River.
Oh, brother. They camp out on the Truckee River here right in downtown Reno and Fisherman's Park. And I was just shaking my head. I drove down Galeti Street the other day, and there must have been like 20 tents set up along the river there right off the street in Fisherman's Park. I mean, it's a public park. And I was watching the Sparks police in there. And they weren't chasing them out. They were just, you know, having a drive-through, looking at them, and they kept going. And I thought, what's wrong with this picture? They should be running those guys out of the public park. There's places in town they can go. They just don't want to go there.
No, they don't, actually. Yeah, they, in fact, my wife was the director of nursing up at our local hospital. And they've had a program for homeless. Police have brought them there for, I think, 3 years. And they feed them and they give them places to stay and try to get them in a program to better themselves. And out of 3 years and many, many hundreds of people, 2, count them, 1, 2, is all that took advantage of the programs that were there to get out of it.
2 took advantage, so to those people, it means, oh, well, we need to do more of this thing because we got 2 takers.
No, they don't want to do it anymore. They're, everybody's getting fed up.
Oh, good. Maybe we'll see some positive changes from it then. I think why it really stuck in my craw was because I'm looking at these tents, and this isn't like just a bunch of tents that are all torn up and are all smashed together. These guys have like these nice newer tents out there, all spread out, and they made little campsites, and they got stuff hanging in the tree through ropes. I mean, it looks like you're at a state park campsite almost, but you're not. And then there's all these thugs out standing around, but they got their lawn chairs out there. Some of them had lawn chairs, John. I thought, this ain't right. It ain't right.
No, it isn't. No, and it's a universal problem. So, and a lot of these people have mental issues as well, which is scary for regular people.
Well, yeah, I mean, that will keep regular people out of the public places like that.
It does. That makes them avoid areas like downtown.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be around something that they don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was watching TV, I think, this morning, and they were showing one of the New York subway tunnels that people walk through, and it was all these druggies laying all over, some were actually shooting up as they were taking pictures. Other ones are just laying there in stupors, and you had to kind of step over them to get through.
Wow. They're just so zoned out from whatever drugs they're taking, they can't even hardly stay conscious, huh?
Yeah, they're not really even conscious. Crazy, crazy stuff.
It is. It's pity to see somebody waste their life like that. There's so many people on their deathbed or kids trying to live, and these other people are throwing away their lives.
Yep.
Too bad.
Yep. Anyway, so what's the next plan? You have other things you're going to do with radio or not?
Well, my short-term goal is I'm going to a couple things here. Of course, my hex beam is on the list now that I got all my burning and yard cleaned up. I need to get going on that. But I also need to start working on my presentation at the Nevada State Convention. I'm going to give a forum on FT8. And I'm going to teach people who don't know anything about it, what it is and how to get started and interface the audio and the data together and get on the air and make contacts, all the way to logging it and putting it in the logbook of the world. So it's going to be probably a 2-hour class, and probably going to have to use some PowerPoints to do it. And I need to plan on, one of the things I want to do is set up a live demo, not just operating, but putting the station together and configuring it so everybody can see it up on the screen. So that's going to take a little bit of doing.
Yeah, boy, that's great. That's really nice of you to do that. Are you going to use your 7300?
No, I don't think so. I think I'll use my KX2 because I'll use an outboard audio interface with it because I figure that's probably what most people are going to be doing. So I want to do something that they're going to be doing. The ICOM has a built-in internal sound card and a USB port, and most people aren't going to have that.
Okay. I didn't realize it had that.
Oh, it's a great feature. I guess, I still could use an external audio interface with that and just not use the internal one, I suppose. I would have to build a breakout box, take advantage of the DIN connector on the back of the radio to do that.
Well, I think I'm actually gonna use that little radio. I might play around with it on the digital mode. I should be able to interface it via the computer, I would think.
Well, from what I read, I think it'll take cat commands. In fact, you just told me it was the Kenwood ones, so it'll take commands from the software, and then the audio in and out. That's no big deal.
Yeah, it's all like 3.5 millimeter jacks. They've got line in, line out. They've got mic in with the PTT. They've got a whole bunch of different inputs and outputs on the back. Just kind of standard stuff.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty easy for you to do.
It'll be interesting to see what the thing sounds like.
I bet it sounds really good, John.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure it works. That's amazing for that kind of money.
Well, yeah. What's amazing is the DSP libraries that it takes. I would think that'd be the most difficult part is all that coding it's going to take. I don't know if there's public domain stuff that people have access to, or if they have to start from scratch to do something like that.
Yeah, I don't know either. I was looking at doing a scan, as I told you, for direct conversion schematic radios, and that one popped up. But really, that's interesting. I started looking at it, and I liked it.
That's how you found that.
Yeah, I was looking for a starting point, design starting point, and I found that, it's already got the processor and everything done. And for that kind of money, I can't build it.
No, and look at all the time you save.
Yeah, but of course it's not as much fun.
Well, yeah, for you it's not as much fun. For me, it's not as much headaches.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Oh, yeah, because, just trying to get it to work for me would be a lot of heartache, probably. Trying to get it to work for you would be a lot of joy.
Yeah, it does go the other way around. You're right.
Yep.
I should use this radio more. I probably will when I get this little board done, the box. I think that's what keeps me from using it.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty big deterrent, not having box for the way we like to operate.
It is. Does it look all right to you?
Yeah, it looks fine. And I'm streaming it so you can go back later and look and listen to it.
Yeah, right now I have it set at 3 kilohertz bandwidth. I can go to 3.3, I think.
I have my receive filter set at 2.7, and it fills every bit of it up, and that's about it. Yep.
I've got mine set at 2.7. That's what it looks like to me, too. I think I've got it. Hold on, I'll look. No, it's 2.7. Hold on. Now it's 3 kilohertz.
Oh, talk some more.
Okay, now it's 3 kc. It's a little bit wider here.
Okay, so I can see it popping up there to the high end of it now. I can see it out the peak, just a little bit on the outside. Not very far up. Maybe.
Is that what you're saying, or what?
I think we doubled, John.
What are you talking about?
I can see on the high end side of the filter, maybe about. Let me think here. Maybe about 10 or 15 dB up. I can see a little bit of audio over there since it's wider now.
That's what you see with all of them, but unless you got pure signals, when you have a good strong signal, you'll be able to see that. But, the filtering is, it's all digital filters.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not seeing IMD. I'm just seeing a little more audio higher up since you widened it.
Yeah, here, hold on. All right, there's 3.3, so that's as wide as this is programmed to go.
Yeah, that looks really, really good. You'll see what I'm talking about when you play it back.
Okay, yeah, I actually still like listening to it on 2.7.
Well, that's where I keep mine all the time because I don't like all the hash at the high end, and that doesn't help with enunciation.
Again, it does sound better. There's less high-pitched noise.
Yeah, I don't like the hash up there, and it doesn't help the enunciation at all. It doesn't accent it or peak it at all. So I think most of the enunciation comes in around a couple thousand or 1,800. What helps you identify the syllables.
Yeah, I mean, most of the voice audio is in the 700 and up. But, that isn't what makes it sound really good, but that's where the intelligence is.
Yeah. That's what makes it sound warm, that lower area down there.
Yeah, having a little better low end.
Yeah. Well, the MyCom sounds very good.
Oh, good. I'm glad it did. You told me it did before, so I'm glad it still does.
It's always sounded good. It always reminds me of the Micor 6-meter repeaters you had. The audio is pretty close to that.
Okay. Well, it should be good. It should be like very similar to the SCR, because it's all digital audio.
I guess that's the way to say it. It sounds like you, so that's what you want.
Yep, that's what I'm looking for. And yours is sounding just like you, so that's a good deal.
Yeah. With no added artifacts. I like that.
Yeah, I could do without that.
Yeah. Well, all you got to do is run your feline straight back from the wall.
Yeah. No, we're not going to do that.
I mean, I got to thinking about it. John. I had the same problem when I switched antennas, but what I wasn't considering was the antenna when I was switched to my in-fed half-wave. That's exactly what it is. It's an in-fed half-wave, which could really introduce a lot of RF to the shack. So it kind of made sense that it didn't change much by switching antennas.
All right, let's see. I think everything should be working. Now I'm on the SS9000, and the output's about the same, and the bandwidth is almost identical.
Boy, that sounds really nice, John. It's got a little more on the highs, which is fine. It sounds really good. It perks your voice up just a little bit.
Oh, no kidding. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you need to listen to this yourself, but it does. It's nice.
I think I will then. If you're saying it sounds pretty good.
It does. I think the Micom is probably just a little more flat response is all.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making this one run.
I don't think anybody that really knows 9000s would believe you're on a 9000.
Well, yeah, if there's somebody that, if I was on a group with other people with them, they would wonder why it sounds different.
Yeah, they want proof that you were running a 9000.
Yeah. I'm not sure I could even order the crystals and stuff to do that again.
Oh, that's true.
Although I did get a name of a company that started up when International cut down. One of the older companies came back, so I haven't tried them yet, but there may be a source.
Oh, that would be good. You know, INRAD got picked up by Vibroplex.
INRAD.
Yeah, they made crystal filters, or maybe they didn't make it, but they put kits together to assemble better filters into radios. Like you could buy filters for your TS950 from them.
I thought that was part of International.
I think it was, but I think they bought that part.
Okay, so they were selling off their stuff, and that was one of them?
I think that's what happened, because Vibroplex picked them up long about that time, and a lot of the same filter mods and stuff they still have. One of the things they had for the 950 was a 3 kilohertz filter for the front end, because I think the one in it is 15K. So, you know, it was to narrow it down.
Oh, I know. You're talking about the roofing filter.
Right. Exactly. They did a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, that's at, what, 70 megs or something?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Well, you know, the receive audio on this is really nice, too. It's actually better.
I don't remember what they sounded like. I know we had it turned on when I was over your place.
Well, it has really nice audio. Everything's double balanced mixers, and the audio is one of the better.
Yeah, it's very clear, very clean sounding on the transmit audio.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think you'll be impressed when you listen to it.
Because you have plenty of it where we were talking on the Micom, and then I made that switch, and I think that was, what, 5 minutes ago or something, 7:45.
Yeah, so look like 40 minutes into it right in there or something, and you'll find it.
Oh, thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Kind of a fun thing to do for everybody.
Yeah, it's nice. I've used it a number of times.
And once I figured out the program, there's nothing to it.
Oh, it's really easy to do, huh?
Yeah. Now that it's all configured, I just hit a button and it goes on. And I also have it set up to where it makes a copy of it and puts it on my hard drive.
Excellent. Well, just got home, so it's pretty late. I probably ought to go in and say hi to her, and then I'm going to listen to the audio and see what you're talking about there.
Okay, I'll be interested to see what you think about it.
All right, well, you take care. Say hi to S.
All right. Nice talking to you tonight, John. And that was fun. So have a nice evening, and we will look for you on Saturday morning.
Sounds good. Take care, Dan. Thanks a lot. KM62, W6DAX, Placerville, clear.
All right, 7-3, John. W6DAX, KM60Q. Catch you later.
7-3, W6DAX, clear.